All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a blue-yellow update video. All right, so let's go ahead and hop straight into it. You know, without any further ado, I will have everything time-stamped in the general description because we will have some games to go over. We're going to check out the deck list and go over some games. I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below or hop on the VP Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Now, let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. So today's video, we are going to be showing off a new card coming out in ST22 and a few new cards coming out in OP11. Now, real quick, let's go ahead and read the leader for some of the newer players out there. This is a 5,000 power 4-life blue-yellow leader, Portgosty Ace, with the effect of Dawn ×2, activate main once per turn. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add up to one 5-cost character card to the top of your life face up. Then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then at the end of your turn, you're going to send all face-up cards in your life to the trash. Okay, so we have to find a way to take advantage of having a face-up life card from our leader's effect every turn. That's the main idea for this leader. Now, let's go and move this leader screen. So, I'm going to run through the deck list real quick, and we're going to talk about it. We're running 2 Kaidos, 2 of the 5-cost blocker Ace, 4 Jozu, 4 Nami, 2 Kazuki Odin, 4 Viola, 3 Flampe, 4 Sanji, 4 Satori, 3 Hiyori, 4 Zeus, 4 of the 2K counter premium promo Sabo. I'll talk more about this in a minute. 4 Sabo, 4 Red Rock, and 2 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. Now, all of these cards will be available to us very, very soon over in the West, except with the exception of Kazuki Odin. Kazuki Odin will not be available, I think, until September for us. I could be wrong about that. This is the one card that will not be available, but we will still be able to run this deck and make it work with what you see on the screen here. Okay, so let me talk about this card and about, you know, why I'm re-including it into my list. Because for a while I was not using it. Or excuse me, when I first started playing Blue Yellow Ace, and when everyone started playing Ace when it first came out, this card was not available. Then it got released, and I think I made a version here on the channel that we were messing around with from a previous video, where it was something to do with Whitebeard Pirates, right? And I tried a bunch of different versions from Whitebeard Pirates. Let me see something. I think it might have been this one. I can't remember. There was a version that I was running a while back, and I was trying it out, and it was pretty good. The card was pretty good, but now that I have found more of a focus and direction for the deck, and I need a win condition, which is something I mentioned in a previous, I think in the last Blue Yellow Ace video, what ended up happening is we needed like a real win condition, and that's where this Kaido came in very handy. However, after messing around with Odin even more, I started thinking about, man, returning a card back to our hand every turn is really, really nice. Being able to pull back our Flampes, our Violas, our Hiyoris. We have a lot of options in here. Even the Zeus, or even just a random 2K counter, pulling it back to our hand to stand this up to attack again is massive. It's massive, and the fact that it cannot be taken off the board very easily because you can just trash cards from your hand to save it. This has become a new like main focus of this deck moving forward into September, into OP, not just OP11, but like OP11.5 or whatever it would be, going into ST22. So this will be a major focus for the deck. I did try running this with Onami, and what ended up happening was using it with a Viola, a Flampe, or a Zeus, or a Hiyori pretty much always was the more favorable answer. It's nice to be able to have Banish like that, and of course the Onami's, the card we're talking about, guys, for those who might not know, is this card right here. I was messing around with this in the deck, but it just wasn't really coming up. You just don't have the time to do it. Ultimately, what you're trying to do with this deck is you're trying to gain a life every single turn, and then also clear the board to the best of your ability every single turn. That's why, if you notice, we're running tons of removal. We're running 4 Jozus, we're running the 4 Zeus, the 4 Sabo, the 4 Red Rocks now, and 2 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers, and the 2 Kaidos, of course. So it really is a removal, life gain, attrition style control deck. Like, we're trying to outpace we're trying to outvalue our opponent, make it into the late game, and drop these massively powerful characters like Kaido and something like Kazuki Odin that has tons of resilience and evasion, where it's very hard for them to get this character off the board. So that is what the deck is trying to do. And I do think Kazuki Odin will eventually get to the point where it's just, I think we might just be running 4 of these eventually and just not even having to worry about the Kaido. Because one of the main things about Kaido was, okay, we play this down and we're going to bounce one of our opponent's 8-cost characters back to their hand, and then we can really bounce one of our 2-cost characters back to our hand for extra utility, and then we have this massive body on the board. But this card does not have any kind of protection. So if our opponent is playing any form of like black or blue, they could probably just bottom deck this card or remove it through KO. So this card, as good as it is, and it's gonna be what we have to run for now in the place of Kazuki Odin, because we just don't have the option. This or something like 8-cost Katakuri. I'll try to remember to talk about in a second. Until we get Kazuki Odin, we might want to run the 8-cost Katakuri here, just because it's a high-value card that allows us to push threats out of our way while establishing big bodies on tempo. But other than that, I think Kazuki Odin is really, really going to be the future direction for this deck. And who knows what happens then, guys, with having cards like Port Gastiace already in here, cards like Jozu, and then Odin. Maybe we start focusing more on the Whitebeard's Pirate package. We'll have to see what happens. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. But I will say this, I don't know if we're going to be able to fully dedicate to one type package in this deck, because there are too many other good cards we're running, like the Zeus, like the Sanji, like the Satori, you know, and like and really like this Nami. The removal we have is not searchable for that, so we'll have to see what we can pull off. But yeah, so that's that. That's like pretty much the main thing I wanted to focus on, and we are going to be looking at 5 games today on the sim using this character in the deck to kind of give you guys a glimpse into the future. But I do want to talk about a few things real quick before we get into the games. The deck is performing very well, but let me say this. The purple matchups are extremely tough right now, like green-purple Luffy, blue-purple Luffy, anything purple with Gum Gum Giant. I'm just going to call it anything purple with Gum Gum Giant and tons of board flood and ramp built in. It's proving to be quite the hassle. And I think eventually, even right now, going into OP11, there might be some idea to just get rid of the Kaidos and go up 2 Gravity Blades. And then, of course, we won't have access to the Odin. Maybe we can go up like 2... of the Katakuris or something. We just need to have more tempo in our favor, because if they start flooding the board on us, it becomes a real bear to deal with. It becomes very hard to deal with. But I am really looking forward to getting access to Zeus in OP11 very, very soon here. And I didn't really mention this, but for those who are not aware, OP11 pre-releases should be next week for us, I believe. I believe next week will be the OP11 pre-releases for us over here in the West. So that's why I'm mentioning this right now. And I know some people might be thinking, like, wait a minute, we just got an EV02. EV02 was really just kind of like a half set. Okay, we kind of got just like almost like a quarter of a set going straight in, and now we're going straight into OP11. A quarter of a set as in, well, it is also a smaller set, but that's not what I meant. We're only getting like a quarter of the time with it we would normally get with the set. We're only getting like not even a month, I don't think. So, yeah. Good stuff here. Everything else is pretty straightforward. The 2 cards we're getting from OP11 that we want to include in the list basically right away is the 4 Zeus here and the 4 Nami. Notice we went down to 2 Ace before we were running 4, but now Nami is just a strictly better card. The 5-cost 6,000 power 1k counter Ace is the exact same stat line as Nami, with a 5-cost 6,000 power 1k counter base. They both have blocker, and this card does draw 2 and then place 2 on the top or bottom of your deck. This card does draw 3, place 2 on the top or bottom of your deck. It is just strictly a better card. In every way, shape, and form, this is just a better card for what we're trying to do than Ace is, unless we start playing around with the 2-cost package again, with the 2-cost Ace and things like that. But this card's excellent. We're fixing our hand better. We're digging deeper for answers like the Odin, like the Kaido, like the Red Rocks and the Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. Even searching for the Zeuses and the Sabos is no joke. Popping a 5 or less is really, really good. Okay, so the Nami and the Zeus, these are the 2 main cards we're going to be looking forward to. And this is when I think Ace will be able to like come online. Because until we get these cards, it is really it is tough right now playing into the field, playing into the format, into the meta. We just simply don't have enough like consistent removal. And you know, we had Sabo before, and I guess maybe we did have more removal. We just weren't playing with it. And now after doing more and more testing, that's why I've upped to 4 Red Rocks and 2 Gravity Blades. excuse me, I was already at 2 Gravity Blades, but I've gone up to 2 Red Rocks, and I've even messed with the ratios ever so slightly. I notice I'm running 10 bricks in the deck now. Before, I was only running 8. I was only running 8 bricks in the entire deck before, but then I added Kazuki Odin. This would have normally been some kind of 1K or 2K counter utility card. Speaking of which, another card we can add just to mess, we can add this in whenever we want to mess around with. Another really solid card for the deck is Pudding. 4-cost Pudding. Let me bring that up real quick. This one right here. This is just a great card to add to any blue deck, right? We kind of have most of the standard blue staples in here, like the Red Rocks, the Grab Blades. We have the Jozu, and Nami will be staple very soon, I think, for most blue decks. This card right here, it's just that good. If your leader's multicolored, of course. But then the only thing we're really missing right now is Pudding, and I would like to re-add this to the list at some point if we can clear up some room for it, because it's just a really good card. Yeah, it's just a really, really solid card. Okay. All right, so I think that's about all that I had to say for the list as far as the updates go. Let's go ahead and check out what this deck can do. Let's see some games on the sim. Okay, let me go full screen here. Let me do my little undo trick here. Take off the leader screen again, and here we go. Okay, so first game up, we have volume off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. We got a game versus Blackbeard. Excuse me. So for those who might be wondering, like, what is this deck's biggest struggle? I would say it's probably, and by the way, this is going to be ST22 OP11 testing you're seeing on the sim here. These games have all the cards available in OP11. So we will be messing around with Odin. There you go. We just drew it for the turn. I think our hardest matchup, hang on, pause. This is a really big turn here. We have the turn 1, we went second. They went turn 1. I don't think they had a turn 1 play, actually. And then they had, yeah, they would have had to play out Lafitte first, excuse me. Then they would have played out Doc Q. Or no, maybe they played both those out in one turn. They searched the turn before. My bad, guys. Whatever the case is, they have a Lafitte and Doc Q. They went first. We went second. We had the Sanji on curve, and now we're going to be able to use our leader effect, setting a 5-cost card to the top of our life. We're going to swing for 5, then we're going to swing for 7. Now, real quick, I do want to say this up front here. I think our toughest matchup are like the purple loopy stuff, like I was saying before. So we're going to have to cater our deck around beating those decks in particular, I think. We'll have to see. That's a conversation for another time. But I do think every other matchup in the format, I think, is very, very winnable for us. I think blue-yellow ace is actually in a very good spot. Okay, so here we go. We set our cards there at the bottom of our deck in a specific order, and now we are going to swing for 5. We're going to draw the card from the top of our deck. We're going to gain a life in the process. We drew the card. We hit for 5, took a 1K out of hand. We swing for 7. Okay, they're going to try to play something out here. I think I'm actually going to let this card, I'm probably going to save this card. I try to save it when I can, but the problem is I don't have a lot of counter in hand, which is crazy, right? We run only 10 bricks in the entire deck. We drew 3 of the 10, and we run, I think we run something like 19 or 20 2K counters right now. We only saw 1 of them. All right, they're going to do a bunch of searching there. That's fine. They were able to get rid of it, but because we did things in that order, we forced them to use cards from hand they did not want to use. And now we're just going to attack into their board. They've got 2 cards left in hand. We're gonna play this out. They only had 2 cards left in hand, like I said, so they couldn't even use their leader effect, or they'd be down to 1 card in hand. So we do punish them, playing out the Nami, setting our cards up and fixing things and all that. So here we go. They're going to Tempest Kick. They are going to Van Augur, and they are going to pop our card. Seems good. And now they're probably going to swing in for 5. We're just going to take it very gladly here, I think. Actually, we might counter out because I am low on counter power. That's why normally I would not counter out of that attack, guys, but I have very limited counter power in hand. Okay, so we're on a 7 Dawn turn here. We're going to swing 6 into 6. Let's see if he gives me that. Okay, he does. Now we're going to play out an Odin, and it's going to be very tough to deal with that Kazuki Odin, guys. That card cannot be removed unless they turn off the effect with something like Black Hole. They did find a Black Hole, but did they find enough cost reduction? They play out Double Burgess. I've got terrible news for this guy. We're going to go 5 into 1. We're going to slam down the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. We're going to play out the Sanji. We are not swinging with that Odin. I don't have a blocker on the board, and I don't have enough counter power to protect him. We are not jeopardizing losing that Kazuki Odin unless he has a way to get rid of it. And there we go. We forced him to use it. And guys, again, he can't even use his leader effect because he has 1 card in hand. We're going to play out the Nami. We're going to fix our hand. Nice, we get another Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. We're doing very well right now. We're in a really good spot. We're going to swing 6 into that card. We're going to draw a card and gain a life. We're going to go 7 at face. They're going to take that every time. And here we go. I probably could have done things in a little bit better order, but I didn't want to risk it. Okay, they're going to swing 5 into 3, and we're going to 2K 1K because they can't swing anymore for the turn. They have 2 0-power characters. Okay, we're going to Red Rock that card off the board. Now we're going to gain life again because they can't use their leader effect. Their hand size is too low. They're going to counter out. We're going to swing for 7. They'll take this one. They get a Searcher. They grab another Blackbeard. I just don't care, right, guys? I just don't care about the Blackbeard. They're going to go 5 more into here. I'm going to keep countering out and gaining life and drawing cards. I'm almost up to 5 life, guys. I'm almost up to 5 life, and they're at 2. Now we did not get a Red Rock this turn, okay, but now we have it with the Nami. We're going to put some cards on probably on the top of our deck. Yeah, so now watch, we're going to find that the Jozu and the Ace there, so that way we knew we would not whiff the search. And now we're going to attack in for 5. Let's see what he does. We're going to attack. He should counter out of this, and then we'll probably just pass the turn. We're actually going to play out a Flampe and just draw a million cards here. Yeah, that's the plan here. We just draw a bazillion cards. My opponent's in so much trouble right now. We have 4 life. We're back to our starting life total, guys, and we have like 10 cards in hand. So this matchup will really come down to just being as effective as you can on the board. Now, a thing I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, I did forget to mention this in the breakdown, the deck list breakdown, is the main reason. I am going to go back to it really quickly, guys. I'm not even going to move my camera. The main reason we're running this card is because of the fact that it allows us to activate main, draw a card from the top of our life against the Blackbeard matchup. We're not trying to swing with this card. We're trying to play it out and get recurring value from it in the Blackbeard matchup if we have to with our leader effect. That's the main reason we're running the promo Sabo. And it doesn't even look like this for us over in the West. It looks very different. Okay, now back to the games. I did want to mention that real quickly because we were on a matchup that it really mattered to talk about in. Okay, so that was the game against Blackbeard. Now we got a game versus Red Black Koby. Okay, volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. They're going to go first. Typically, we want to go second. Okay, and I will talk about that as well in a second here. I think we always want to go second, unless we're going against a leader that has 6,000 power, or has pseudo 6,000 power, like Shanks or something like that, or Green-Purple Luffy. Okay, so they do get a pretty good start here. They're filling up their trash. They're filling up the board. We get a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, and we're just going to bottom deck the brand new, guys. We're just going to get rid of that. Okay, now their leader effect can usually save their characters from removal, but he only had 2 cards in his trash. That's why I pulled on that as soon as I did. So right here, this is perfect. We put a card on top of our life. We're going to take that card to hand, gain a life with the Sanji, drawing the card, swinging for 5. This gets a 1K counter out of their hand. We're going to swing for 7. Let's see what they choose to do. And watch this, guys. If this is the game I'm thinking of, they're about to realize this person I'm playing against is about to figure out just how much I want to protect that Sanji. Watch this. They're going to play out a Kuzan. They're going to go 6 into 3, thinking, okay, that card's gone. Absolutely not. No, sir. You're not getting it for a 6K. Like, for a 7 or an 8K, I might give it up. Maybe a 9K, obviously. But, like, probably not in any other situation, guys. The card is too valuable. It does too much for the deck. Like, right here, guys, we use our leader effect, and watch what this card does. So, we just swung for 7, which is going to take a life or 2 cards out of hand. It drew us a card and gained us a life. So that is worth a 2-card investment to save every time, because every time you swing with this card with your leader effect, think about it. You're getting 1 card out of their hand or a life. Either one's fine. You're drawing a card from the leader's effect, putting the card on top. Otherwise, you would have lost it. You're gaining the life fully from your leader's effect this time. And guess what? Next turn, they're going to attack into this card, and it's going to get you another card's point, a card worth of value from it. If you can save Sanji for 2 cards or less, obviously, if you can save Sanji for 2 cards or less, you should do it pretty much every single time, unless you have a specific play lined up next turn where you just don't want the card anymore or something like that. But hear me out. This Sanji, if you could save it for 2 cards or less, and I would even argue 3 cards or less, I think it's almost always worth saving. Again, like I said, unless you have a better play lined up for the following turn, the next turn. Well, we're up to 5 life, guys. We're up to 5 life. We're swinging in for 7. This is going to get a 2K, 1K out of their hand. We're coming in for 7 more. They take that. They're down to 2. We're at 5 life. They're at 2 life. They have to get rid of this card on the board, and they probably can this turn. But the point is, watch this. Watch what this attack is going to eat up here. Okay. They play out Hibari. That's going to give minus 2,000 power to it, and it's going to eat up a 7,000 power attack. Now, to be fair, that card cannot attack into face this turn, but still, against other decks, it's a very high value, trade for sure. Okay, so we do let the Sanji go finally. They're playing out Peacock. They're going to start buffing up their board, clearing up space, filling up their trash. They're going to go for 6, and then they're going to swing for 6 more. So we're going to take the first 6 here. That Red Rock seems good on their turn, because now they have to return 3 Dawn cards on their turn, and I didn't have to waste any Dawn, and I already have a Jozu in my hand to bottom deck stuff if I need it as well. But again, removal against Red Black Koby's not really that good, because they can save their characters. Okay, they're going to swing in for 6. We're going to go ahead and take that. Like this Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, really not good. These 2 Red Rocks, really not that great. So we bottom decked both of those. We're going to go 6 into 5, and I think we're going to establish another 2-cost card here. Probably another Sanji. Okay, we put down another Sanji, and that's one of the reasons we run so many 2K counters in the deck, guys. We don't want to keep that Sanji in our hand, but it's nice as a 2K counter. We want that card on the board. That is another attacker. That is another way for us to gain life. It's another way for us to fix our hand. That card does a lot for what we're trying to do, and eventually it's going to eat up removal. Sure, you know, be my guest, right? Okay, so my opponent here, I think they are starting to learn Koby. I think they mess up here a little bit, because watch this. For those who are not aware, Koby does not have Rush. He has the ability to attack into characters on the turn in which he is played. Now, you can't just attack into active characters. So I do go ahead and tap to block this, because I thought... Actually, this might not be the turn I'm thinking of. He did give the proper characters the ability to attack in. I think he gave the Koby the ability to attack in with the Kuzan. So we're going to block out, then we're going to 1K. I'm just trying to save this card at the end of the day. Now, one thing I do want to mention, too. Make sure you understand how Red-Black Koby works. Red-Black Koby says that you cannot... I'm talking about the leader. The leader Koby... It can only save a 7,000 power or smaller character. So watch this. We're going to play out the Kaido bouncing his Koby back to hand, and he doesn't get the chance to save it because the base power in that card is over 7,000. So notice I have it on the screen right now, guys. Once per turn, when one of your Navy-type characters with an original power of 7,000 or lower is removed from play by your opponent's effect, instead, you may trash 3 cards from your oh my goodness. You may place 3 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. We were struggling, but we got there. Okay, so really good stuff here. Let me make sure we are on 2x speed. Very good. Okay. Blue-yellow ace games tend to run very, very long. I'm not going to lie. Get used to the play lines on the sim, so when you play in person, you can just start slamming cards down as fast as you can, because these... blue-yellow ace games probably average like 8 to 9 turns, per game, which is a lot more than the average game, typically speaking. Okay, so they're going to fill out their board pretty nicely here. They have a Hell Meppo. They're going to go 8 into 6. We're just going to let that thing go. Yeah, sure, you can have it. They attack 7 into us. I think we're going to take this, and then they have a 5K attack we can get out of very easily. Yeah, we might even take it, honestly. We have a lot of really good cards in hand. We give him the Hiyori. Unfortunate we had to give him that, but hey, it is what it is. So right here, it looks like we're going to attack in. Now, remember, guys, when it comes to Koby's effect, you cannot save your opponent's you cannot save your characters from battle. Only from effects. Okay, so we're going to play out a Nami, get some searching going on. We set our top cards where we will not whiff on our 5-cost search no matter what. We end up finding a better 5-cost option, but hey, that's fine. We find a 2K counter in there, which is usually what I'm going to go for every time. We're going to go 8 into, it looks like 8 into 6. Yeah, I think that's the safer play instead of 8 into 7, because then they could just 1-card answer. Otherwise, they'd have to give us 2 cards. We have 2 blockers. We have 3 life. We have 4 cards in hand, which is not a lot, but we do have a massive body on the board here. Okay, they're going to play out Prince Gruss here. They're going to use an Honesty Impact to get rid of my Nami and do minus 4,000 to the Kaido. But guys, that's still an 8,000 power character. They're going to go 10 into 8. We're just going to give them the blocker and say, go ahead and swing into face here. We'll give you, we'll probably take it, honestly, because we know it's a 2K counter Sabo. Yep, so we take it. We get the 2K counter in our hand, and here we go. We'll see what happens. This is a tough spot for them to be in, and we just made things a lot tougher with that top deck. We are going to be able to attack into what we want here. We're going to go 7 into 7. I'm basically saying, hey, give me your cards, because I'm not trying to rush you down right now, because look what the follow-up we have, guys. We have a massive follow-up here. Okay, I think we should have played out the Kazuki Odin, but I guess I'm respecting my opponent's red card pool, because they might have Rush, and I don't want to accidentally lose a game or something like that. We're going to play out the Hiyori, or excuse me, the Flampe, and completely fill our hand back up. We have 2K, 3, we have 3 2K counters, and then 2 1Ks. We have removal. We are in an incredible spot. We're winning on the board. We're winning in life. We're winning in hand. We are up in every single category. We are up in every single category. They're going to replay the Koby we bounced back earlier. Let's see what they choose to do with this. I think this is where a play mistake happens. There was something that I can remember in the game where they kind of messed up. Okay. So right here, yeah, they gave their leader... So pause. Let me go back and read that card real quick. Okay, So there we go. Oh, I didn't hit pause. That was funny. All right, here we go. So they go ahead and swing with this character here. And notice this. I paused it this time. On play, up to one of your characters can attack one of your opponent's active characters this turn. So he should have given it to the Koby, and he did not. Something happened where he messed that up. I'm not sure what happened, but it didn't make sense. It's like, wait a minute. Or maybe I misunderstood what they were trying to do. But notice what happens here. He should have just attacked right into the Nami here. Just attack right into Nami and then maybe swing at face. But the problem is there's no way to survive the crackback, right? I have a 12k body. He cannot even contest this turn. Okay, well, he's going to swing for 7. Well, now I'm just going to block and 2k counter out, and he's just going to pass the turn because the Koby cannot attack into face, and that's what he wanted to do. Okay, so here we go. I swing for 12. He has an Honesty Impact. Okay, well, we're just coming in for 15. GG. They only have 3 cards in hand. No Dawn active, no life, no blocker. They can't get out of it. Good game to my opponent. Okay, next up we have another game. We got a game of Purple Luffy. Blue Yellow Ace versus Purple Luffy. Let's go Speed 2X. Volume's off. Here we go. I think I got all the different Luffys except Green Purple Luffy today, guys. I couldn't find any on the sim when I was trying to record these. You know, it was like... It was one of those situations where I was kind of pressed for time, and I was looking for the matchup, so I did settle on a different green-purple matchup in Doffy, but that's going to be the last game. Okay, so we get out the Sanji on curve, going second. You love to see it. Here we go. The perfect play, 5 into 2. He's not going to save that. 7 into face. He's not going to block out of that. He's at 3 life now. We're at 3 life. We're both at massive hands right now. I think he's at 10 or 11 cards in hand. We're at 9. He's going to go in for 6. I think we are going to 2k counter out of this. We don't want to get too greedy because we don't have a lot of 2k counters in our hand. Okay, here we go. He does play out the Zoro, dual Zoro Juros here, but that's not going to help when you're already at 9 Dawn, right? I think he's at 7 Dawn. Next turn, he'll be at 9. I don't really care about those Zoro Juros at all. We're going to use our leader effect. I think we're just going to smash in for 7 and 7 here, guys. Yep, smash in. We go back up to 4 life. They take this. They're down to 1. I'm coming in for 7 more. They got to give me a 2k to get out of a 7k attack. We do like to see that. We are very happy to see that extra value. They swing 4 into 3. Now, normally I would save the card, but here's what it would have cost me. 4 into 3, that's a 2k counter. 4 into 3, that's a 2k counter. And then 5 into 3, that's a 2k 1k. Number 1, I don't even have a single 2k counter in my hand somehow when I run, like I said, I think it's like 18 or 19 in the deck. I don't have a single 2k counter in my hand right now, and on top of that, he's able to do all of those attacks I just said without investing any Dawn. It's not worth my turn. It's not worth me trying to save that card, even if I could. Okay, they're going to swing for 5. We are going to give them a 1k counter, because like I said, we don't have any Dawn, guys. We just don't have any Dawn. Very nice. They put out the Katakuri. It looks like... So they put out the Katakuri, guys, and I have an 8 Dawn follow-up here. I think we're just going to get this card out of the way, maybe. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. We have a few options, but they do have an 8,000 power blocker on the board. Yeah, we're just going to bottom deck that and say 7 at face. I'm telling this guy, hey, you can have those little Zoros. They can't even attack in, right? Like, he's at 10 light, or he's at 10 Dawn. He has no value in attaching a Dawn to them. He just doesn't even get to play out his bigger characters. Plays out another Katakuri. Hey, guys, what do y'all think my next play is going to be? I kind of already moused over it and clicked on it. But what do you guys think my next play is going to be? Oh, does he have an 8 Dawn and a 3 Dawn character on the board? Does he have exactly 1 8 Dawn and 3 Dawn character on the board? I know he's another 3 cost, but still. This is going to hurt. Bye-bye. Swing for 5. They're going to 1k counter out. Guys, this is a absolutely brutal situation. Again, we're going to keep countering out because we just don't have much counter power this game. What is he going to do here? He's going to get red rocked is the answer. We're going to attach 2 here. I'm going to swing for 7, see if he wants to give me the blocker. Nope, we're going to bait out a 2k. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're just, oops, okay, pause. So the right answer there was actually going, I think what I was going to do was red rock the character off the board and swing for 14. That was what I was going for, but I was starting to consider some other options, trying some other play lines. But just know, guys, even with 2 Dawn active on my opponent's side, the correct play there, no matter what's in, even if he has all 2k counters and if he had all 2k counters and, what's it called in hand? The Gum Giant in hand. It doesn't matter. The right call is still just to red rock the biggest threat off the board and swing in for 14. And if they have it, they have it. And if they don't have it, you know, they're done. But if they do have it, you're not losing on the crackback. Like, look at, you know, we have 4 life. And that is a 10 cost 12k on the board. So even if they put all 10 Dawn on their leader and swung 15 into it, we could literally go 1k, 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 or whatever it was, or 2k. We had a 2k in hand we drew from probably last turn. Good game to my opponent. That was a good one. That was just an example of like how Kaido can just completely turn a game around and just the amount of tempo it has. is incredible. However, in the next matchup we're about to look at, it's not nearly as good. And we're going to talk about that as we get into it, because this next one here, we have a game against blue-purple Luffy. Okay, full screen, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. I remember when I first started playing blue-yellow Ace, you know, on the sim and stuff like that, I felt like I had a very good matchup into blue-purple Luffy, but it doesn't feel that way anymore. Like, I feel like they're picking up, you know, they're learning, you know, number one, they're learning how to play the deck better, blue-purple Luffy, and number two, they're starting to realize what blue-yellow Ace does. Like, maybe a lot of people are playing it, but I feel like they're making very good play lines into what we're doing as blue-yellow Ace nowadays. It's becoming very difficult to deal with blue-purple Luffy now as Ace, and green-purple Luffy we'll talk about in a minute. So real quick, this turn right here, the thing that I love about OP11 is now we have access to another incredible 2-to-on play with the Zeus, and that's an on-play effect. So even if we don't have like a turn 1 Sanji like we would normally want to do, no problem. We're going to be able to pop this Zoro by going leader effect, putting a 5-cost card into the top of our life, playing out the Zeus, pulling the card out that we put on top of our life that would have been gone at the end of turn anyway, and then getting rid of the Zoro here. So we have a really high value play here. Make sure to attack first. Swinging for 7 into 6. They give me a 2k counter. I think that was the right call. We take our top life card. We pop the 3-cost Zoro. Get that out of here. Don't want them to ramp on too quickly. They swing for 7. They play out a Bon Carré. Now, we can't stop that. We can't stop that kind of ramp because that's on play. Okay, we're going to swing for 6 into 6 here. We're just poking them, saying, hey, give me a card from your hand. They give me a 1k counter. Seems good. We're going to play out the Nami. We can't really deal with that card. We couldn't really deal with the Bentham this turn. Unfortunately, we didn't have the removal. Okay, so I set my cards up, I think, for next turn so that I would not whiff a search if I need to. We 2k counter out of that attack. We might have set that to the bottom the more I think about it. Okay, they're going to swing for 6, and we do take this. That was a little bit greedy, and they slam down the Katakuri. Okay, well, guys, let me say right now, the most important thing to do against any purple Luffy matchup, blue purple, green purple, mono purple, whatever, you know, monocolor purple, whatever they call it, the most important thing to do is remove on curve. That's why I'm up to 4 gravity blade, I'm up to 4 red rocks. You have to keep their board clear so they don't start generating insane levels of value every single turn. So we poke in for 6, we poke in for 6, and now we pass the turn to them. Let's see what they choose to do. I'm basically inviting them to attack into my Nami because my fear, let me pause and explain what I just did there. My fear or my concern was that they're just going to bounce the Nami to my life with a 9-cost Linlin. Now, this guy did not get the 9-cost Linlin, or maybe he did and decided this was a better play. I don't know. But the 9-cost Linlin was definitely the better play there. I mean, I had ways to save the card with Viola, but still, I think that was just strictly the better play. I'm going to let the card go. I'm going to let that card go as well. And here we go. It looks like right here we're going to swing for 7. Okay, we're going to set our top card first. We're going to swing for 7. And then we're going to play out the, again, we're just going to, every single turn, we are going to, I keep wanting to call Red Rock Gravity Blade. I don't know why, guys. But every single turn, we're going to remove a threat. Just one after another after another. And I'm actually really hoping he has another 8-cost Katakuri here. He ends up just getting a Zoro Juro. That was all he had on top of his life, I guess, in the top 5 card that he searched up with his leader effect. It is what it is. But now, guys, I really, again, unfortunately, the 10-cost Kaido is not great into this matchup. It's just not great into it because they can get around so many different things. So here we go. We are going to set our cards here. I think we're going to finally play out, we're going to play out the Flampe, drawing some cards, playing out the Odin, and now we have a threat on our opponent's side of the board. We have a real threat on the board because anything they turn sideways, we can actually attack into. And if they start getting something like the 10-cost, the 8-cost Katakuri, we have a Kaido to bounce that and the Zoro back to their hand. So we're actually in a very good spot here. Okay, let's see what they choose to do. They play out the Luffy. I think we're just going to probably eat this attack here, and then we'll counter out of the other. Excuse me, they're going to bounce something back to hand. I think they might... Oh, okay, excuse me. They bounced no card back to hand because it's up to 1 character. We take the hit, and now they're going to swing it for 5 and 7. Okay, we'll probably just 2k, 1k out of this one, and then we have a 1k for this one as well. Okay, give them the 1k. Seems good. Not a bad play at all from our opponent here. So I think what we need to do is I think we actually need to bash into this board. I'm going to go 5 into 4. I'm going to dare him to save this. Now watch this, guys. I'm really considering loading all up on this Odin. Yes, sir. Swinging for 15 into 8 and then 15 into 9, returning a 2k counter back to my hand. His board's gone. His board's clear. It's out of here, right? And again, I'm actually hoping this guy has a Katakuri he can play to waste on his turn, so that way I can smash, or I can bounce that out of the way with the Kaido and establish an even bigger threat. Okay, so we got 2Ks. We got two 2Ks in the hand, two 1Ks. We have two red rocks. We are feeling very good about this position. They try to use a red rock here. We're going to trash a red rock in a 5 cost, and I think they're just going to leave, guys. They decide, you know what? I got to get rid of this card. Oh, wait, you can't get rid of that card. So when they tried to get rid of it, it was just game over. Let's at least look at some of the other plays they had. They could have used the 9-cost Luffy to attack into it. Like, play out the 9-cost Luffy, attack into this card, leave a Dawn active, but they also have no cards. They have no red Gum Gum Giant in their hand or anything. So if they go to attack into this card with the with their Luffy, we can save our Odin, no problem. We have 2K, 2K, 1K in hand. We'll take the hit to face. And then from there, you know, we could, and actually the nice part is, look what we're getting on top of our life. It's a Hiyori, and we can gain life with that next turn. So we're in a very, very good spot this game. Good game to my opponent, but do not be fooled, guys. Do not be tricked. This is a very tough matchup right now for Blue Yellow Ace, and I feel like it did not used to be. But who knows? Things change. All right, we got one more game. We got one more game here. We got a game versus Green Purple. Doflamingo. That's right, Doffy. Okay, speed, 2x, volume's off. Here we go. I'll try to get some Green-Purple Luffy games in the future, guys. That is a very, very tough matchup. I did quite a few games into it and was messing around with it. Green-Purple Luffy is a beast right now. If it gets the right pull, I think it's just kind of over. And I need to experiment more with going first or second with it. It's a really rough time right now. Okay, so we're waiting on the Doflamingo here. They're going to do some searching. They search up the 5-cost Rosinante. Okay, well, we need to get to our 5-cost KO, right? Or our KO 5-cost cards. There's one of them. I was going to say Sabo or Zeus. We find a Sabo. That's all we needed to see. Okay, so they do get the Rosinante. We're just waiting on them to pass the turn. Here we go. Leader effect, top 5 search, putting a 5-cost blocker into our life because I think we already had removal. We didn't need the 5-cost removal again. And we're going to smash into that, smash into face. We're coming in for 7, and let's see what they choose to do. This will probably be the turn they decide to set up a birdcage. So they're going to swing 5 into face here. If they had swung 5 into my Sanji, by the way, I would have let that go because it's just going to get taken out by birdcage. Even if I didn't know they had a birdcage, I would still let it go in this matchup so they can't punish me if they have 5 Dawn open. Okay, here we go. They still have their Giola on the board, or their Giola, but I don't really have any 4-cost or lower characters to hit with that, other than cards I would swing with first, like Sanji. So we're going to swing for 6, and I think we're going to establish a Nami here, fix our hand big time. There we go. We were looking for that, guys. We were looking for that card right there, the Odin. We're going to put it on top of our life, by the way, or on top of our deck so we can draw into it next turn. Okay, so here we go. We set up our cards in such a way that we have the 7-cost Odin should be the top card, and then the 5-cost should be right under it. All right, here we go. They're going to swing for 5. We're not going to block. We're not falling for that trick, guys. That birdcage will punish us big time. Okay, we draw for the turn. It's the Odin we set there with our Nami's effect, and we're actually going to attack. We're going to use our leader effect here. I think that would have been a good turn to establish the Odin, but whatever. I guess we're not going to do that. I almost feel like that was a play mistake. Oh, excuse me. We're trying to get rid of the Rosinante. My apologies. That's what's actually happening. Play out the Sabo, crack the Rosinante. We trash our top life card. Not a big deal because that was at a very good cost, and we didn't actually lose life because of our leader's effect. That 5-cost Sabo is an MVP, guys. That Sabo is absolutely incredible. Huge, huge fan of that card in the deck. At first, I didn't think I'd like it. I was running it as like a 2 or a 3 of. Then it's like, wait a minute, it's just so good. They play out a Sugar, which can only rest down a 4 or less. But hang on, let me pause and read this real quick. Guys, Sugar can only rest down a 4-cost or lower character on play. But on your opponent's turn once per turn, when your opponent plays a character, and if your leader is Don Quixote of Pirates, you can rest up to one of your opponent's characters and then rest this card of any cost. So that card has to go. Sugar's got to go. Sugar's got to go because it can rest down any of my characters. We're not going to let that happen. Okay, they're going to swing for 5. I don't think I should take this, guys. I think we should even giving them a 2K counter here, I think is fine. We give them a 1K counter Ace. We do, again, I still think we should have just gave him a 2K counter like a Flampe or something there because we're probably going to take this 7K anyway. Seems good, and here we go. Never be afraid to give a 2K counter for like just a 5K attack if you have to. All right. So let's see here. Sorry, guys, I heard something in my house. I was like, looking over like, what was that? But here we go. All right, so we're going to play out the Odin. Guys, I missed that entire turn, guys. I got a little bit distracted. Hang on 1 second here. Let me back up for this entire turn. It's one of those things where you hear something, you're like, what was that? But my kids are here, you know, it was probably one of them doing something. Okay, here we go. Back to the beginning of this turn. So they swing for 7, and this is where we left off. All right, so now we are going to be on our 10 Dawn turn. We want to play out the Odin this turn. We're going to play out the Zeus, popping the sugar, going down to 1 life. But guys, I have faith in what this deck does. I know this matchup well enough. They are not going to be able to rush me down with that much counter power in my hand, 1 life, and a blocker. It's not going to happen. I do know they have a 10-cost Doflamingo. They searched it up earlier in this game, but it looks like they're not going to play it out right now. I know that they have a 10-cost, and I believe it was an 8-cost. That they showed in this game. There's a Rosinante. They're going to play out the 8-cost Doflamingo with the 2-cost Rosinante. Very solid combo there. They're going to swing in for 5, and I think we're just going to, give them a 2K counter here. There we go. That makes sense. Okay, but what are they going to do about my board? Right, like my board is getting to a point where it's like, hey, that birdcage is going to go away at some point, right? Maybe not, maybe not. I've seen versions that can get around it. But watch this, guys. We're going to swing in for 8 here, and then we're just going to pull back a card with our Kazuki Odin's effect, and you know, that's 1 more card they can't remove from the board with the birdcage. So they're going to use Spider's Web to stand up stand up one of these searchers. I don't think that matters too much, but I guess hey, it works. So now we're going to use Kazuki Odin, pulling back the Zeus. And then we're going to be able to attack again if we want to, and we can also try to remove some characters on the board. We are going to Red Rock pretty much no matter what, so let's see what happens here. We're going to swing in for 6, and I think we're going to go ahead and play out the Red Rock and just move on from here. Swinging for 8. Okay. They give us a blocker, seems good, and grab our Red Rock, that card's gone. And now that we have 3 characters on the board that are rested, this will be a very good turn for my opponent to lock down my board. Yep, they're going to play out the Doflamingo. Seems good. We're just going to not really care, though. Honestly, we're not really going to care about that. We're going to counter out of this one for sure because our life is getting low, and we need to make sure we keep all the threats on, or all of our cards on the board we need. And here we go. Let's see what we choose to do here. We can stand up that Kazuki Odin by returning a character. We're going to do a top 5 search with our leader effect. We get a Nami, and then we're going to smash in for 6 because the stage is gone now. The stage is gone. So they're going to Nora Beam Sword to rest down our Nami. That's fine. You always have to watch out for Nora Beam Sword, guys, when you're playing against purple. If they have 2 Dawn active, just assume they have it. It'll save you a lot of headaches. Now, if you can't play around it in certain situations, it is what it is. But always try to if you can. Okay, so we're going to pull a card back here, and we'll have 3 Dawn left for the turn. We don't really have anything too fancy to do here. I think we're actually just going to establish another blocker, fix our hand. Look what we got, guys. We just got a insanely powerful removal card. We're going to set I think we set our top 2 life cards there. Or not top 2 life cards, our top 2 cards of our deck there, so we can not whiff our search next turn, but I could be wrong. I wasn't paying enough attention. So they're going to pay 1 and tap down the sugar to do some searching. They're trying to find answers, but guys, our board might just be too much right now. Our board might just simply be too much right now. Okay, they play out another sugar. They find a 2K counter. And they have 7 Dawn left to work with for the turn. They have a 5K attack, a 7K attack, but we have 2 blockers. They play out a birdcage. That's actually very good here. They're going to play out the birdcage. They swing for 5. I'm going to 2K counter out, and I'm just going to give them the Viola on this attack. We couldn't block with our Nami, or we'd lose it in a turn with the birdcage. There goes the whole board, and here we go. We actually can potentially start going for lethal very soon here. We're going to swing for 8. They take it, which I think was a very wise decision. We're going to attack in for 7. We're going to end up trying to gain a life here with our leader's effect. We get a 2K counter. We're going to Hiyori. Well, we're going to Red Rock first, get rid of their biggest character, play out the Flampe. Okay, yeah, we're actually just going to Flampe to get more card advantage and go from here. So I guess we could have swung for 7, 9, or 8 if we wanted to, but either way, we got the attacks through. We're doing pretty good now. We're starting to burn through all their defensive events, and again, Doflamingo locking down our character. We just don't really care about that. It doesn't matter. We can actually get past it, and they don't have a bird cage down, so we can block this time. We're going to swing in with Odin. Let's see what they give us. We're swinging in for 8. Do they have a 2-cost event here? Let's see. They do not. Okay, well, if he doesn't have a 2-cost event, then we might have to, might have to do something here. Might have to try to go for lethal potentially. We'll have to see. Okay, we do whiff the search, so that changes things. So now instead of playing out the 5-cost, we're just going to play out a blocker. I was going to KO the Rosinante with our with the 5-cost Sabo we just got rid of, but we did not hit a card from life, and I didn't want to go down to 1 life for no reason. I'd rather sit behind 2 blockers and all this counter power. Oh, okay, he's going to swing for 10. All right, well, since I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15K counter in hand, I guess I'll give him 3 2Ks. We're out of here, and now it is going to be a very, very rough turn for our opponent next turn here. Okay, where are they going to go with this? They're going to swing for 7. Well, now we can just block and give him a 2K counter. He has 2 Dawn left. He can't do a bird cage. We're good to go. And guys, now I think it's just going to be swing 10. Notice I'm like kind of going back and forth here. They are a 6,000 power leader. We have to keep track of that. But I think the right answer here is to swing with the Odin, just in case they have another Noro Beam Sword. We already saw 1. We're going to tap. Okay, the Zeus seals the deal. We're coming in for 11 now. And let's see. I think they end up tapping out right here because that's going to be game. Pause. Look what they had, guys. They did have a Noro Beam Sword, but I honestly don't even think it would matter. Like, say I didn't attack with my Zeus first. If I did like a 6 or 8K poke right away with the first attack and they rest down my Odin, remember, guys, I can just stand it up afterwards and attack with it again. We were going to get rid of their Rosinante no matter what with our Zeus, and we were going to go all in this turn with all these different attacks. It was going to be brutal, I think. But in this situation here, it ends up being swing. It was going to be swing 6, 6, 7, 11, 11. And that is a tough attack to get. That's a lot of tough attacks to get out of, even if you are a 6,000 power leader. Okay, good game to all my opponents. That was a lot of fun. The deck is still performing very well, and I have to say this is still easy. Like, this has now become my favorite of the new decks I've been messing with here. It's just so much fun to play. It's just so much fun to play because you're doing so much. Like, it feels like each turn, all the different play lines. I think the next video I do on Blue Yellow Ace, which will probably be in about a week, I want to put out a Blue Yellow Ace video about once every week now. And the next one that I put out, I'm probably going to go over all the different interesting play lines I've come across. Maybe not all of them. There's probably a million altogether. But I'm going to go over all the most powerful play lines that you need to take into consideration when you're playing this deck in like board states and things like that. And for something like that, I'll probably use my actual camera to record like a physical, like on the board, showing how my board state would be and like going over things and talking over from there. Hopefully that'll be a lot of fun to watch. It'll be very cool. But yeah, here's the list, guys. I'm very, very happy with the way this deck is performing. I do think some slight modifications are going to have to be made to deal with Green Purple Luffy and Blue Purple Luffy. But I think with enough practice and with enough, how do you want to say it? Like enough practice and with enough testing and, modifying the deck and fixing it up and fine-tuning it and all that, I think this deck can actually do very well into pretty much every deck in the format and at least have a winnable matchup into all decks in the format. Not to say you're going to beat every deck every time, but that just you'll be able to beat every deck or have a good chance of beating any deck in the format. Because anything up to about a 40 to 45% chance, that's pretty good, right? If all things considered, if 50-50 is like a perfectly even matchup, I think a lot of the matchups we go up against will probably favor like a 50 to 55% matchup. But then against certain decks, some of the better decks in the format, like Blue Purple Luffy and Green Purple Luffy, I think we're probably slightly under that, like 40, maybe 45% at the best. But now, and that was with previous testing, I will say. Now that I have modified the list to have 4 Zeuses in here, because before I was testing on OP10, right? I was trying to do a lot of testing on OP10 for people to play with EB02. So many different versions you can run of Blue Yellow Ace, so bear with me here. But we didn't have access to Zeus yet. Let me just summarize by saying that we did not have access to Zeus until OP11, which is coming out in about a week or 2 weeks here in the West. Once we have access to Zeus, I think that helps our matchup into Green Purple Luffy by quite a bit. I need to do some more testing into that. But then into Blue Purple Luffy, I think this is going to be the answer. I think this card is going to be the answer. Kaido has his times where he is just unbelievable, where you drop him down and you feel like you win the game. But against certain matchups, he feels kind of like a dead card in hand. I will say that right now. Like, for example, against Blue Purple Luffy, most times he feels like a dead card in hand, unfortunately. And that's going to be a very prevalent matchup coming up. And I would also argue that against something like Bello Betty, which will be another very prevalent matchup, a matchup we're going to see all over the place in OP11, trying to combat the different Luffy decks. I don't think this card's going to be good against that one either. So we might have to make some revisions. And remember, guys, there's basically going to be 4 spots open in the deck from what you see on the screen here because we don't get access to Odin until September. And this Kaido might not be that good in the current format of the game. So what I might end up doing for the time being, we'll see what happens, but I'll probably end up going -2 Kaido, -2 Odin, and maybe going +2... probably plus 2 more of these aces to fix my hand better, and then maybe some 7, 8, or 9 cost card. Some options I had in my mind. Some of the guys I played with locally gave me some really cool ideas. I got to give a shout out to my buddy Sean. He gave me this idea to maybe try to run Kairos in the deck. He's a 7 cost 9,000 power character, just a massive body on the board for 7. You're getting your full your full 7 Dawns worth of value on the board with a 9,000 power body, and he can bounce back 5 cost or lower characters to the owner's hand. Well, we have nothing but 5 cost and lower characters, so we can literally pull back every card in our deck except this one, right? We can pull back all of our 5 cost cards if we need to and get value in that way, or on curve, we can bounce one of our opponent's 5 cost characters off the board too. That works as well. We'll take that as well. So this is a great card to consider here. And even if we're just looking for a larger hit, like the biggest hit we can get for 7, there is the 7 cost Doflamingo. This might seem crazy because, like, wait a minute, didn't we just see a 7 cost 9K? Yes, we did, but this is a 7 cost 7K that bounces a 7 or less back to the owner's hand. So in other words, even a Sanji and Pudding, if they've been hit by the stage, it only goes to a 7. We would still be able to push that off the field for now to slow down our opponent. So I think there is some merit in considering this for sure, until we get access to something better like Odin. Because like I said earlier, guys, I think I said this earlier. I think I mentioned this in the beginning of the video. This is the way forward for the deck for sure. It just becomes our card. It becomes the card we put on the board, and then we have so much value. Like I said, we're going to be able to pull back our Hyoris, our Zeuses, our Flampeys. Viola is still a good card to pull back because we can pull that back, set it back down to gain life. Because think about that, guys. To pull a card back with Odin, it only costs 3 Dawn. So, and then we get to attack again, right? So imagine on a 10 Dawn turn, we only need 3 Dawn for Odin's effect. We only need 2 Dawn for our leader's effect. So we have 5 Dawn to play around with. So that could be attaching Dawn wherever we need to get extra attacks in, and then just leave 2 Dawn active for something like Viola. Because if we have to, or 2 Dawn for Hiyori, or 2 Dawn for Zeus, whatever, we only need like 2 Dawn realistically for what we're trying to do, and maybe even only 1 Dawn in certain situations. We'll have to look at some future play lines. Another card I've seen people run with Kazuki Odin, I know it's a really good card, is Nefeltari Vivi. Nefeltari Vivi is another good card to run with Odin. You can pull the card back to your hand after drawing tons of cards. And think about it, you draw 2 cards with this effect. If you have a multicolored leader and you have 5 or less cards in hand, draw 2. Okay, well, Kazuki Odin saves itself by trashing 2. So it's kind of a perfect 1-to-1 card with Odin in the deck, or with Odin on the board, I should say. Because now you can just, I mean, think about this is just an idea. Like, say your hand's completely, this is just one option. Let me say it like that. Say your hand has just been completely fried, right? You're trying to defend everything. You're doing what you can, and you go down to like 1 or 2 cards in hand. No problem. If you already have Odin on the board, you can play out Nefeltari Vivi. Well, swing for 8 first with your leader. Or hang on. I would swing 6 with your leader and then swing 8 with Odin, play out Nefeltari Vivi to draw 2 cards, pull the card back to your hand with Odin's effect, swing for 8 more, and then play out the Vivi again, and you're going to draw 4 cards that turn, 5 for the turn, including the card count, that you get for the actual drawing for the turn. So it gives you some really incredible options to refill your hand. I'm not saying that's like a super optimal play. I'm just giving an example of what you could potentially do. But who knows? That might draw you into something like a Viola. Right? That could draw you into something like a Viola, and you can go from there, and that's a lot of value, guys. That's a lot of potential value. Okay, so that's really the main thing I have to say here. This is turning out to be one really fun, one heck of a really fun time building this leader. I haven't had this much fun playing a leader since I first started messing around with Red Yellow Sabo, and now Blue Yellow Ace has so many incredible play lines. And again, I think the next video I do on Blue Yellow Ace will be going over a ton of those play lines, all these different options you might have, because there's a lot, guys. Your 6 Dawn spot in the deck and your 2 Dawn spot, they are such an incredible synergy with our leader. Like I said, it needs its own video. It needs its entire own video to kind of go over some of these lines. But this leader is so much fun. I got to give a quick shout out to someone, Sakura TCG. Guys, you be sure, if you like Blue Yellow Ace, if you like Blue Yellow Ace, be sure to check out their channel. Let me see if I can find them. They commented on something very recently here on here. Sakura Pirates, excuse me. If you go to their channel, they got 37 subs, and check this out. They're like a newer channel, and they've been pumping out a ton of Blue Yellow Ace videos. Okay, so if you're enjoying what we're doing here, this guy has the exact same mindset as me when it comes to Blue Yellow Ace. Be sure to check it out. Look at this. A video came out 12 hours ago. So not only are you going to get my video today for Blue Yellow Ace, Here comes another one, a 20-minute long video. And look at this. He is running the Odin plus Nefeltari Vivi combo as well. And he's running the Odin plus Hiyori loop just like we are, okay? Incredible stuff there. Be sure to check them out. Show them some love. 37 subs. Let's see if we can help them out, guys. Where's all my blue, yellow Ace enthusiasts, guys? Where are you guys at? Help them out. All right, good stuff. All right, I'm done, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let me get the screen, the deck screen on here one more time. So again, just to kind of recap, Kaido is good into certain matchups, but into the things that are going to be the hardest to deal with, the top tier meta decks, he's not going to be quite as good. Let me just tell you right now, he might still need to be in there as a one-of, because if this deck hits, excuse me, if this deck hits the card, if this card hits the board is what I meant to say, this card is a monster. It is very hard to deal with. Some decks can still deal with it, but it is a lot to deal with. So if you can stick this card, you know, maybe as a one-of in the deck, I think it'll be worth trying. Speaking of one-ups, let me say that one more thing before we finish off here, guys. There is a card that I'm really considering adding as a one-of. Maybe for now, I will run a few one-ofs in the deck, and the top 3 candidates are going to be Kaido, You're the One Who Should Disappear, and then Nefeltari Vivi, even without Kazuki Odin. Nefeltari Vivi does give us more card draw. Notice I've gone up to 3 Flampeys in the deck. I think I was only running 1 or 2 before. I think this might have been a one-of at one point. But guys, this card is just too good at finishing up your turns sometimes by leaving 1 Dawn active. Oh, one more card actually. Instead of Nefeltari Vivi for the time being, there is a card that everyone keeps asking me to try, and I have tried it. It's not that I don't like the card. I just haven't had time to play test it and fit it into the deck. Slave Arrow is an extremely good card. You're able to return back your cost 2 or higher characters, so your 2 cost utility cards. 4K counter out for the turn. The trigger's a draw 2, place 2. You can set up your next turn. This is a great card for the deck. I just haven't had the chance to try it. I'm not avoiding it. I just haven't had the chance to try it. That's legitimately the only reason I haven't messed around with it just yet. And then of course one more card we do have to consider for the deck. A lot of people keep talking about Marshall D. Teach. I don't think we need the card in the deck, but that's not to say it's a bad card. It's not like this is a bad card. I just don't think we need it in the deck. I don't think it does enough for what we're trying to do. We're setting up our cards just fine. Now that we're in OP11 and we have the 2 aces and the 4 Namis, I've actually gotten rid of Duval. We're running out of space in the deck, guys. The list is becoming very, very tight. Okay? All right. Hopefully that helped, guys. I'm done. I'm done yapping. Tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. Let me get the outro page on here. We go like this, like this. All right, guys, appreciate all the support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, if you're supporting me through, you know, liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing to help me out. Sorry, guys, my mind went blank there. Using my TCG player affiliate link, using the Patreon, the PayPal, donating through that, Playmat supporters, YouTube members, the Discord community, however you're helping me out, however you're supporting me and the community, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. This is such a good time. This community is incredible. Hope you guys are enjoying. And yeah, till next time, guys. Peace.